Hello everyone, my name is Damani Gray, MBA, and this is Doing It with Damani. And today we visit Lovell's Records, which is a 50-year-old institution in Whittier, California, specializing in vinyl records. This video is very near and dear to my heart as my father was an ardent collector of vinyl records. But before we get into today's video, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family so they don't miss another exciting episode of Doing It with Damani. Now let's get into today's video. We'll bump fists, not shake hands.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Ruben.
Hi.
Thanks for having me today.
Pleasure.
So, of course, this is Lovell's Records,
Yes.
which is probably the fifth oldest business in Whittier, 50 years old plus.
Maybe Marsden's for sure has been around a long time. So is Monty's Camera.
Monty's Camera, Monty's Camera is second. Marsden's is third.
Sure.
There's a mortuary across town that's first.
Okay. Yeah.
This is 50 years, so that's probably in the neighborhood of fifth oldest business.
Well,
here.
this is well, technically this is probably 50 years in this location, but it's been here since the 30s.
Oh.
And it was originally over here on Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So it's still the same business, still the same name. So technically, it might be the oldest business in Uptown.
And of course, just so people watching, we're social distancing here.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been the owner?
Well, I'm not the actual head owner.
Okay.
I just manage everything.
Okay.
The owner, his name is Tom Geigel. He's been here probably since the 70s. He bought it from the original owner, who was a Lovell. That's where the
Okay.
name comes from, Lovell's Records. But I've been here managing, I'd say, at least 15 years.
Oh, so you've been here a long time. So
I've been here quite a while.
Let me ask you a question. What's the secret to your longevity of being here that long? Because let me explain a little bit. You have the owners, right? And then you have long-term employees. So this vlog covers both because as entrepreneurs and as business people, there's two ends of that spectrum. So you being here for over 15 years, what's been the secret to your success?
With this kind of business, it's a small business. I think a lot of it is you have to be really hands-on with something that you enjoy doing.
Okay.
Right? This is obviously not a business for quick cash. It's not something that's going to give you immediate wealth or even any kind of wealth.
Okay.
You basically have this kind of business because it's a community business.
Okay.
You know, the business, I guess, has been able to sustain itself through downfalls and record buying and big major labels closing down because the community has really pulled through.
So what is your favorite part about working here? Where's your ups and downs about working here, rather?
Well, my favorite part of working here is just being able to talk to familiar faces, and like I said, I mean, being in an area, in a neighborhood that I grew up in.
Okay.
So I mean, I know a lot of people. People have been coming here since, you know, at this point, I've been here so long that now people are coming here when they were kids, and now they're older. So it's making me feel older. But my favorite part of working here is definitely just being able to interact with people. But on the same foot, I think anybody in retail or hospitality can attest that one of the most difficult things in general is also working with people.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So, not that it's hard, because this job is not hard. What makes it difficult is just being able to communicate with customers, make sure that they're happy, especially at such a small level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if there's a complaint, I can't just go call the owner. I have to address it myself. So
Right.
those are the only real issues. I mean, you get all sorts of characters coming in and out. So, you know, sometimes they're really easy interactions to deal with or to resolve, but sometimes they're a little more difficult.
Okay, good answer. Now, we've seen 8-tracks, we've seen vinyl records,
Yes.
we've seen cassettes, we've seen CDs. Now we're on streaming.
Yes.
What do you think is next?
I mean, the only place you can go aside from streaming is, I mean, I guess implanted in your brain at some point, but I don't know how I can't imagine or foresee any other medium in order to store music, right? Because at this point, streaming, everything's up in some digital cloud and you're able to pull it. So it's not even tangible at this point. We
Right.
reached a point where it's not tangible. So I can't even imagine where else you go.
Right. Well, I think we're gonna circle back to having it on like a solid state hard drive inside of our phones.
Okay.
I think that's because if we can I think the secret's gonna be downloading music in seconds as opposed to minutes.
Sure.
So if we download, say, an album in 10 seconds, then that takes the lazy factor out of it in streaming. That's personally where I think it's gonna go next. Because, the like solid state hard drive, I don't know if you bought a laptop lately, but solid state hard drives have made all the difference in laptops as opposed to like our mechanical hard drive. They like our phones are solid state as opposed to our mechanical, and they boot up instantaneously.
Sure.
They pull music instantaneously. If we can download music just that fast or movies just that fast and be able to store them on our drive so we don't have to rely on the internet, I think that's going to be the next. My personal opinion, but
totally.
I'm not in the business.
No, I could totally see that,
Yeah. Okay. In a few minutes, I'm going to ask you so you can start thinking about it. Do you have a favorite album or do you have a favorite section here? I'm going to ask you to show it to us.
Okay.
Okay. My next question for you is, where do you see yourself going in the next 15 years? Will you be working here in 15 years, or do you see yourself opening up your own shop? Or because you have the experience at this point
Sure.
to open up your own shop, you probably have the relationships, you probably have the networking already.
Right.
Where do you see yourself in the next 15 years?
That's a great question. I mean, I think for me, this as much as I put a lot of effort and obviously my own time into the store, I love it. What happens with the store, I have no idea.
Okay.
That's something that I couldn't tell you. But as far as my own responsibility here, I'm trying to work here as much as possible to be able to facilitate all the needs for all the different clientele we get.
Right.
Because a big part of this job is sort of catering. Like you're creating and curating a playlist. It's very cheesy to say, but that's what you're doing. Essentially, you're trying to make sure that you're keeping really great content in your store, right? Because otherwise, you could just go to Walmart or Target and then just buy any Michael Bublé Beatles records, which are fine. But I think the reason people come here is to find something interesting, find something that appeals to them. So as long as I can keep doing that for the store, I'll keep doing it. I have another source of revenue. I have another job that I do as well. So, but for me, this has become more of like a passion project, I guess.
Okay.
Just being able to, like I say, maintain everything in the community. The owner's a wonderful man. He's kind of given us the ability to allow us to curate and create a sort of mold the store into what's happening, right?
Okay. And do you buy records as well?
Yeah, I'm 37. I've been buying records since I was 12.
Oh, so you have a plethora of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge.
As much as I can. I mean, you're always learning. I mean,
Right.
I've seen as many trends as you can within those years. So I think that's helped me sort of keep up, with trying to keep what's in favor with everybody that's growing up. Kind of keeping up with the trends in general. That's the hard part. Like I said, this business is not a hard business to do. It's just really about knowledge and educating yourself, whether it be what the new format's going to be, what's valuable, how to even get it. So it's a lot of like searching, basically.
And what's the best way to keep and store old vinyl records so they don't disintegrate? I know the older they get, sometimes they get fragile and they disintegrate. That was a problem I ran into with my dad's records when I went through them after he passed away.
So what I tell people is, as long as you keep your records in a cool, dry place, those are the only two things you need to worry about: is moisture and the temperature, right? So if you keep them in your garage, like I'm sure most people's parents have, just because they're cumbersome, they collect a lot of dust. So the easiest solution is to just throw them in the garage. That's probably the worst place to put them, in my opinion. As long as you keep them standing upright, keep them cool and dry, you shouldn't have any issues. The only problem you could foresee, I guess, with older LPs would be if they're housed in these paper inner sleeves. That's, I think, what's happening, or what's happened, what you see a lot of when you go through old records, that they've been stored in moistured area or kind of wet, damp area. So that mixed with paper inner sleeves, they get stuck to the records. So what I tell people is, if you want to keep the life of your records as long as possible, store them in like a plastic liner. They even now have, or they've been having for a long time, but if you can afford it, spend a couple extra cents and get rice line paper. They're basically plastic inner sleeves that have sort of like a non-slick coating inside, and those will last you forever.
Is it good to wipe off the albums with alcohol? Because that was something that we used to do.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of sort of like home remedies and ways to clean your records. Some people use Windex. Some people use alcohol. We use a solution that's like sort of a diluted alcohol, but we use that just to take some of that dust off. That with a microfiber cloth, or you could get a felt pad that they sell. We sell them here. They're pretty inexpensive, but that's just sort of going to lift a lot of that dust off.
Right.
It's not going to get rid of any scratches, but at least kind of protect and prolong your record.
And before we get to your favorite record, is there anything that you want to say to the customers, you want to address to them, want them to know about you or the store? There are people watching this.
I guess, there's the only thing I could think of on the spot is never be ashamed or kind of concerned about what your musical tastes are compared to everybody else's. I know sometimes people come in here and they pick up a record and they're sort of kind of apprehensive to buy it because they think someone's going to judge them or we're going to judge them. But in all honesty, I don't care what you listen to as long as it's something you enjoy. And don't be afraid to venture out and try something new. When I got into buying records when I was 12 years old, 13, 14, a lot of the records I bought were based on just looking at the cover. If the cover looked rad, looked cool, something interesting was on it, I took a chance. Okay. So that's kind of the best thing I could tell you if you're record hunting. Just kind of take a chance.
Okay. And do you have a favorite album that you can show us?
In store, yes, I do.
Okay. Well, go ahead and get it and we'll pause here.
Awesome. So this is a group, they actually released this album last year, late last year. Okay. A group called Soft Kill, and this is their, I don't even know, they have a lot of EPs, but this album is called Dead Kids, R.I.P. City. Okay. It's sort of like, it's hard to describe, but it's like a little bit electronic, it's very gothy. Okay. It's my favorite record of last year. We carry it because I think everyone should own this record. They're from Portland, Oregon. A lot of good stuff's coming out of Portland, Oregon, or has been coming out. So I'd recommend this album. There's also a group from the same city called Alien Boy. And they're a phenomenal, just kind of shoegazy rock group as well. So I'd recommend those two bands, Alien Boy and Soft Kill.
All right, well, thank you, Ruben, for your time. I know that we have to schedule this several times over, but we got it done, and I want to appreciate you for having me here, and thank you for your time.
Awesome, thanks for stopping by. Thank you, brother.
This is the end of our vlog. I would like to thank Ruben from Lovell's Records for having me. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on, and share with your family and friends so you don't miss another exciting episode of Doing It with Damani. If you have any comments or questions, please make sure you call them. Their number or information will be listed in the description below. And I am currently looking for new entrepreneurs or long-term business people for this vlog. If you know anyone, or if you're an entrepreneur or a long-term business person, please hit me up in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. And remember, entrepreneurs and business people out there, you don't have to do it alone anymore. You can do it with Damani. Thanks for watching.